Hello, I'm so glad you're here. This is a new episode on the Tea with the OT channel called Talk After the Tea, and it is catered to therapists. My fellow therapists, either in occupational therapy or some other version of therapy that's out there, whether that be mental health, physical therapy, speech therapy. I'm here to chat with you now. So, Tea with the OT is a channel that I created in order to serve families and individuals who are just curious about occupational therapy and different topics that are in that realm from my expertise as a pediatric occupational therapist. But now I want to take a moment and chat with other therapists. This is a chance for me to connect with you as I am growing my latest venture, Grow Beyond Therapy Collective, which is a community for therapists to connect and grow through learning opportunities and opportunities to collaborate and just discuss things together for interdisciplinary collaboration. So today I'm going to talk about a really important topic that really spans all types of therapists in our talk after the tea, and that's burnout. And so we're going to touch on that today, some ways to avoid burnout or to heal from burnout and just get back to feeling passionate about the work that we do again. So let me tell you a little bit about something I experienced kind of recently, but that I am healing from and getting better at. There's still moments that linger on, but I want you to kind of picture this. I'm sitting at my desks, my desks. I do have multiple desks, but I'm sitting at only one of them. New client requests are piling up. I haven't finished all of my session notes from the week. Calls for consultations are coming in. I'm trying to plan for next week's treatments. That's not really happening, but I haven't posted original content on my social media page in a while, and that's part of owning a business as well as a private practice. I feel disconnected from everything that once brought me joy. And in that moment, I just felt like I had lost all direction. I couldn't find my spark anymore. I mean, I was seriously wondering what any of this was even for. Maybe I need to just shut down for the day or shut down for the week or maybe even shut down for a whole month. Does that sound familiar? Do you ever feel like, okay, I'm ready to shut off from the world? Many of us have been there. That foggy, frantic place where it feels like everything is just too much. It's all coming in at once. And some of us might shut down, others might go into overdrive, others might snap at the people around them, start crying when they make mistakes, feeling short with clients or colleagues or even your family. And that's not a character flaw. I want you to zoom out. That's dysregulation, something a lot of us therapists are familiar with, but hardly take enough time to recognize it in ourselves. Your body is trying to protect you in those moments of dysregulation. It's acting like you're running from a bear, but it's not a bear, it's just an inbox. And it's an unrealistic caseload in some cases. It's the internal and external pressure to keep doing more and do it better and do it faster and be productive. And I'm here to just talk about that's not normal. We need to take a step back, and we need to start to serve ourselves and serve our own regulation behind the scenes. So as therapists, many of us spend our days helping families, kids, individuals learn their own self-regulation techniques. But what happens when we are the dysregulated ones? What happens when our nervous system is stuck in fight or flight survival mode and we're pushing through to meet everyone else's needs and trying to deliver the magic that is therapy and that therapeutic relationship? As you know, regulation is our ability to manage our emotions and behaviors in pursuit of a goal, right? So it's the invisible skill that lets us hold space for others. It lets us document ethically. It lets us connect authentically and do the behind the scenes work that keeps our practices thriving. But here's the thing. You can't give more of what you don't have. And regulation isn't just about white knuckling it and pushing through the stress. It's about completing the stress cycle. So I'll talk a little bit about stressors versus the stress, which is a topic or a concept that's brought up in the book Burnout by Emily Nagoski. She puts it perfectly, saying the stressor is the thing that causes the stress, and the stress is your physiological response. I loved this illustration of it, and it was just made everything so much clearer for me, even as somebody who works in the field of dysregulation and nervous systems. So let's say you finished the last client call of the day and you've addressed the stressors, but you haven't let your body move through and complete that stress cycle. So when you walk through the door at home and you immediately shift into caregiver mode, your body's still in that activated state and getting like go, 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 getting things done. And if that continues day after day, week after week, that unprocessed stress builds up, and that's chronic stress. And as therapists, we know that's not a great place to be. And that becomes the breeding ground for burnout. So how do we avoid that? How do we interrupt that cycle? One of the first ways that how I broke through that cycle recently was, I was having, like I mentioned earlier, that situation. I was having feelings of like deep resentment towards my practice, not my clients. When I was with them, I was still lit up and I was reminded why I love this work. But as soon as I left their home, it was just like it slammed right back into me. And it was like, okay, I'm exhausted. But everything around that, the pressure, the pace, the expectations, all those things were weighing me down outside of the client session. So I started to ask, why am I not loving this anymore? Why doesn't this feel like mine anymore? And after some reflection, some, grounding work, and yes, therapy, I realized that my business goals were not aligned with my personal goals and my personal values. So the goals that I was setting for my practice and my business, while they looked good from the outside and they looked strong and they were aspirational, they were completely misaligned with my values, like just completely. And so then I was like they were like fighting against each other. So like I value one thing, but the goal I'm going towards is not fulfilling that value. I was chasing metrics, growth, visibility, things that looked great on paper, but were completely out of sync with what I actually value: connection, community, creativity, rest, and time with my family. So I had built a business that required me to betray essentially my own nervous system and my own inner drive just to keep up. No wonder I was feeling burned out. So now I ask myself, and I ask you to consider this too: is your work aligned with your values? Like your really deep personal values? Because if you are passionate about this work, it certainly should be feeding you and driving your energy and filling you up in many ways. I'm not saying that you have to love every second of every day of your career, but the bulk of it should be fueling the values and the things that you want to accomplish in your personal life. Are you building a career that energizes you or drains you? Is your to-do list serving your future that you want, or is it just perpetuating that stress response? So what we have to do now, when we wake up and we answer these questions and we're trying to break that cycle, we have to start to build that burnout resistant practice. As we move forward, I invite you to identify your core values, not what you should care about. That's a trap I've fallen in very many times, and I'll probably continue to fall in, but hopefully catch myself before I get too deep into it. But not what you should care about, but what actually lights you up. Consider those things. Reflect on where your practice supports or sabotages those core values, those things that really matter to you. Notice your body's cues throughout the day. When are you calm? When are you on edge? When are you feeling like your gut just doesn't want to do this? And make note of that. Maybe you can't change it right this second. Maybe you can't change it next month, but you can start to take small steps towards something that actually fuels you and matters to you. Incorporate intentional strategies to complete that stress cycle. I highly recommend Emily Nagoski's book to read, but think about things like movement, laughter, connection with others, breathing, creativity, and rest in order to complete that stress cycle before we keep chronically pushing through. And with that comes giving yourself permission to pause, reorient, and rebuild systems that support your nervous system. This is not something that changes overnight. It's something that changes with intention. The work that we do as therapists is beautiful. It's vital. It's in demand, and it's demanding on our systems, but you are not the tool. You are the creator, the artist of the practice that you are building. You deserve a practice that honors your humanity just as much as it supports your clients. So let's stop surviving our careers and pushing through and start building ones that regulate us and reignite us when we need it most. I'm so happy that you made it here, and I definitely, if any of this resonated with you today, please take a moment to share that in the comments and just let me know what is something that helps you complete that stress cycle. What really regulates your system when you are feeling overwhelmed or you're just trying to, keep your system at a regulated state throughout the day. And if you really liked this discussion, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the Tea with the OT channel, and give a follow to Grow Beyond Therapy Collective. It is a growing community, a brand new community that I am building to basically change the narrative around burnout so that burnout becomes a thing of our past. So again, I am so grateful that you're here, and I look forward to connecting with all of you even more in the future. Thank you so much.